Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Andrea, and today I have a tag video for you all. This is a Project Panners tag 2022 that was created by Ruth Foley, and I decided just to make it a little more interesting, I would just do my makeup while I answered the questions. And this tag is open to anyone who would like to do it. There was previously a Panners tag, I believe last year, by Sarah Rose. So I'll find her original video and link it below. And I will also have the questions that we are answering in this tag listed down below as well if you decide that you want to do this video. I know there's a bunch of us doing it, mostly the ladies, I think all of the ladies from our little Zodiac group collab that we're doing within the Zodiac Pan project are all doing this tag. So if you click on the hashtag in the title, I think this is the hashtag everybody is using. So if you click on the hashtag, it should take you to everybody else's videos. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done my makeup on camera and tried to talk about something else at the same time. So probably all gonna have to bear with me, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. The first question is, what is the easiest category to pan, in your opinion? And for me, no question, is skincare. Even though I do my makeup every day pretty much, it's very rare that I don't, because I'm doing so many projects and I've got so many different products that I'm focusing on. Things tend to move pretty slowly for me in that area, but skincare I do twice a day no matter what. And even though I don't always use the same products morning and night, I'm using them every day. So skincare is definitely something that I feel like I get through pretty easily. So then number 2 would be hardest category to pan. Actually, I think I might change my answer, because I had powdered face products like bronzer, blush, highlight, which, okay, I gotta go get Madeline a blanket. Hold on. Okay, as I was saying, my original answer was going to be powdered face products like bronzer, blush, and highlight. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, and there's lots of categories that are hard to pan. But for me, especially, I'm going to actually change my answer to lip products, because especially bullet lipsticks, and don't get me started on liquid lipsticks, but it takes me so long to finish lip products because I don't really reapply like a lot of people like to do. It's basically because I don't go anywhere, which you would think, oh my gosh, which you would think would lend itself more to reapplying, because what does it matter? But it's just not something that I think about doing. So it takes me forever to just rotate through my lip products, even when I just have usage goals. Like the Juvia's Place lipstick that I have in This Is Fantasy, I have a 15 use goal on it. It's been 3 months and I think I've used it 10 times in 3 months. I just don't use lip products like that. So yeah, I'm going to change my answer to lip products, definitely. Number 3 is a product that you flew through, and going off my previous answer, this might seem a little weird because it is a lip product, but this past Christmas I bought the Too Faced mini set of the Hangover RX Pillow Bombs because Deb loves them so much, and I've only used up one so far. I've only used up the original one, but I use that up quick. I never go through lip products that fast. And it's not just because it was a mini and it is a very thick formula, but it was just, I liked using it, and I would use it like every single day, which is pretty rare for me with lip products. So that one was definitely a product that I feel like I went through quite quickly. Then at number 4, a product that you lost the will. It took so long. And I didn't necessarily lose the will because I did finish it. But my Urban Decay Primer Potion, I think I finished it up last year or maybe even the year before. I don't know. It was a long time ago. And it was I believe it was a full size. It took me over 2 years to finish up that eyeshadow primer, and I used it every day. Like, eyeshadow primer in general, because you use such a little amount of it, takes really long. Like, my Milani one, I think, took me about a year-ish, as, like, not nearly as long as the Urban Decay, but and they're tiny. I mean, it's not like they're that big, so yeah, that's definitely, eyeshadow primer is definitely something that, even though I use it every day and I use the same one every day, it just takes a long time. And then number 5 is a product that you wouldn't let beat you. And that would be my Maybelline Master Glaze blush stick that I had in my Panner's pan for Elizabeth. Oh my god. That thing. I know, I look kind of crazy. That thing just, like, took so long. And the reason it took so long is because I, like, dug everything out. If I hadn't dug everything out, it still would have taken a long time, but it wouldn't have taken quite that long. But how long was she in that project for? Like, I want to say at least 5 months, maybe closer to 6. And it took me that long with almost daily use just to use up the stuff that was left over at the bottom of the tube. So, yeah, I did not let that beat me. I was like, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish it 100%. And I did. And it took forever. I don't have the marks anymore, but I know that took, I want to say that whole blush stick took a good, like, 300 uses, I would assume. Because I had it in my Throwback 30 project for last year. And I got super close to, like, hitting my goal, which was just to wear it down to the top of the, like, plastic in the tube. And I didn't do it in that project, and I kept, like, working on it because I knew I was so close. And then once I did that, I decided, that's when I started the Panner's pan, and I decided I wanted to bring it in. So that blush stick was, like, I want to say that was over a year and a half of almost daily use on that thing. Obviously not every single day, because some days I wanted to use other cream blushes or whatever, but that took a really long time, and I'm so, like, happy that it's gone and that I don't have to use it ever again, even though it was nice. Number 6, the easiest eyeshadow formula to pan, matte and shimmer. So I was kind of not sure about the matte part, but for this prompt, but then I was thinking about it, and I was like, granted, yes, the pans are pretty tiny, but the Lorac, especially in, like, the Mega Pro palettes, and I don't want to say easy as in it's still not going to take you a little bit, because it's a matte eyeshadow. It's still going to take you a little bit, but I feel like out of all of the matte eyeshadows that I've hit pan on, the Lorac ones took the least amount of time. And they're, again, in their Mega Pro palettes, because those pans are a little smaller, so that is something to consider. But the shimmers as well, I feel, are pretty easy to hit pan on in the Lorac formula. I do have like an honorable indie mention for the shimmers, at least, not the matte. Luxie Beauty, their shimmer, like metallic, it's not really metallic, their shimmer formula, it does not take very long to hit pan in those. If you watched my Beauty A to Z update, you will know that I hit pan in my Luxie Shadow and Painted Lady, and that was brand new. I don't think I'm like 99% sure I'd never used it even once before I brought it into that project, and it only took me 9 uses. So those, and I've hit pan on another one of the Luxie shimmers, and I think that one took me like 8. So yeah, the Luxie ones they're pretty. I mean, it's good that they're cheap, because they're usually, I think they're normally $5, but like a lot of times she'll have a sale where there'll be $3 each. So I'm not like too upset that it doesn't take very long to hit pan in them, because it's not like I paid like Cleona prices for a shadow that I'm going to hit pan in after less than 10 uses. So that was just like an honorable mention for the shimmers. The mattes, I don't have really any mattes that are really easy to hit pan in like that. And then, so number 7 is obviously the opposite, the hardest eyeshadow formula to hit pan in. And I mean, there are a lot. One for matte and shimmer. One that comes to mind is ColourPop, but I feel, even though I really should have used my headband, I don't know why I didn't. Even though their mattes are pretty tightly pressed and stuff, they are, I think, still a little bit easier than the brand that I'm going to mention, which is Sydney Grace. Like, for matte and shimmers. Sydney Grace mattes, I'm working on that hashtag It's a Boy for the Beauty A to Z, and I've used it, I think, almost 20 times, and there's barely a dent in it. And then their like shimmer metallic formula, I think it was my Panless eyeshadows last year. I was working on the shade Apricot, and I used it 30 times, and I mean, there's a dip, but I'm nowhere near pan on that. And a lot of times I was using it as like a lower lash line shade, so I was using a smaller, denser, more pointed brush, and I still don't even think I'm maybe halfway to pan on that one. So I would definitely say Sydney Grace. Like, if you want good, this cheek always ends up so different from this cheek. I don't get it. If you want good quality eyeshadows that are going to take a long time to hit pan on, Sydney Grace is a good bet. I mean, she has a couple shades that are not as good. What is going on? That are not as good as, mainly her mattes. Most of them are good. A couple of them can be a little bit patchy, but for the most part, like, you can't go wrong with any shadow from her. Side note, I rearranged like everything in my office pretty much, and I rearranged my makeup cabinet and how I store my makeup, so now all my makeup is over here, and it's a lot easier to just reach over and grab something. Well, that's neither here nor there. But anyway. So yeah, Sydney Grace would be my answer for that. Tone that side down a little bit. Number 8. The best alternative use to pan a product faster. And this is my favorite trick because I'm not a big brow product person, because as you can see, my brows are pretty thick already, so they don't need like a ton of filling in or whatever. So my favorite trick is brown eyeshadow as brow powder. And I've hit pan on many, well, I won't say many, on several a brown eyeshadow thanks to that trick, because you're using a small brush and it's very like fine and pointed, so you're really like just concentrating on one spot. I mean, that's more for hitting pan, not necessarily using up. For using up, my favorite alternative use, I don't really do too much alternative use because I have so much makeup. Like brows, like I said, are one thing that I really have, like, I have one brow product, maybe two, and that's it. I don't use brow products. So that's really the only alternative use I have, because that's the only category I have where I don't like already have a bunch of stuff, and it's kind of, I feel like it's a little pointless to multitask products when I have so many of each type that, like, you know, using lip products as cream blushes, if they don't work for your lips, is a good one. I don't really do that too much. I know this is the first time I've done it this year, is putting like a highlighter that maybe isn't the right shade for you into a lotion. I know Dannie does that a lot. And it's still slow going for me because I'm a slow lotion user. But that's a good one if you like have a highlight you really like and you use lotion and you don't mind glowy lotion. Like, that could work. But for me, my favorite alternative use is a brown eyeshadow for brow powder. And I'm going to stop and do my brows real quick, and then I'll be back to answer the last few questions, because I need to concentrate when I do this. Sisters, not twins, or in my case, incestuous cousins. So anyway, now that my brows are done, I can finish the questions. Number 9 is the best project panning tip or trick. And I am really I don't know that I really have any tricks. But I feel like I would have a couple of tips. And these might all seem really obvious to everybody, but I'll just say them anyway. Number 1, usage goals is not cheating. When I first started project panning, I felt like usage goals were kind of like a cop-out, and I should be using products to finish them. And I think you need a good mix, because yes, and plus depending on how many projects you're doing as well, like, will really, I feel like kind of skew how many you're doing to finish and how many you're doing just to have usage on them. But especially when you're doing a lot of projects. For all my projects that I'm doing, which I think I counted up in a video, and it was like 20, 21, somewhere around there. If I put in everything in all of those projects to finish, I would never finish anything, and I would get very discouraged, and I would probably quit the project early. But two, when you're not considering a usage goal, when you're hyper focusing on just one set of items to the exclusion of all else, we all know how long items take to pan. And so that's however long you're using those items that you're neglecting everything else in your collection. And it took me a while to not feel like bad for using things just as usage goals, but it's really been something that I've focused on this year. And I feel like it's made me more excited about panning. Hi, Raven. And I feel like it's made me more excited about panning because I am going through and actually touching more eyeshadow. I say eyeshadows, so I'm doing eyeshadows, but more eyeshadows, I'm like using my foundations more instead of just focusing on the one or two I want to finish. Like I've, not a lot, but I've been bringing some into projects for usage goals just to use them because otherwise they're just going to sit there. Blushes, bronzers, highlighters, things like that. I'm really making more of an effort this year to just do smaller, like I still like to do like 10 because I feel like that's a good number, but just do smaller usage goals on things and actually rotate through more of my collection. Like, yes, that means it takes a little longer to actually finish things because you're rotating through other products, but at the same time, like you're getting use out of more of your collection, even a little bit. So that is my number one thing. Like, usage goals are not cheating. And obviously it will depend. Obviously, like, what you're comfortable with usage goal wise will depend on how often you wear makeup. Like, I do makeup every single day. So I feel like 10 is a good number. But if you only do makeup like 3 or 4 times a week, 10 is going to be a lot and going to take away from stuff that you're trying to finish. So maybe you only want to do 5. So it really, panning is so personal and there's no right or wrong way to do it, basically. I don't know that I really, like I said, I don't really have tips. Definitely don't have tricks. I mean, my biggest trick is probably using brown eyeshadow as brow powder, but oh, another tip would be have the makeup that you're panning in a spot separate from everything else that you can see, and it's much easier for you to like pull things out to use them on a daily basis if you have all of the makeup that you're panning in one spot. Like, just gonna do it this way. I recently, like I said, redid everything. So I had my stuff in these containers already, but they were in my makeup cabinet, and especially my eyeshadow palettes. Sometimes I would forget I had eyeshadows because it wasn't as easy for me to see them. So I rearranged my desk. I brought all of my everyday makeup, with exception to the Glam Light palette because it's so gigantic. I have nowhere else to put it. But I have basically palettes and everything else. And every day when I sit down to do my makeup, I just go and I pluck, pluck, pluck. And it makes it a lot easier to use things when they're all right together. I mean, that might be basically it. Like I said, I'm not a tricky, tipstery person. Number 10, what project panning has taught me. How friggin' long it takes to use up products. I'm not gonna say that I'm never buying makeup again, because that's ridiculous and we all know it. But I do think, even though it might not seem like it, I do take a minute to think about stuff like blush, bronzer, highlighter. Well, maybe not so much. I'm not really. I wear bronzer. I like bronzer, but I'm not. It's not like with blush and highlight where like, ooh, that's pretty. I want it. It's just like it's a bronzer, you know. So like with blush and highlight, I have enough blush and highlight for like 5 lifetimes, and I've finished like 2 blushes, 2 powder blushes, because obviously I finished that cream blush. I finished like 2 blushes in my entire life. I probably have like somewhere between 40 and 50, and those aren't including ones that are in face palettes. Knowing how long it takes to pan a blush, I don't really need to buy more blushes, ever. So it's taught me that, it's taught me how long it takes to go through things and how I need to maybe be a little more judicious in my decision making when I buy products. What else has project panning taught me? It's taught me that there are a ton of people on the internet who love makeup just as much as I do, and who aren't solely into the buy everything mindset, but also really into using it up. And just, this isn't anything in particular project panning has taught me. It's just, I've met so many amazing people through this community, like the ladies who are also doing this tag. We have a group chat on Instagram, and we all talk like almost every single day. You know, there's other people that like Lisa, I talk with her almost every single day. And it's just like a kind of an amazing feeling to know that I've made such good friends on the internet, because we all love makeup. We all love not only buying makeup, but we all love using our makeup up as well. And finally, this is taking forever because 1, I talk a lot, and 2, I also talk slower when I'm doing my makeup because it's hard for me to concentrate. So I'm sorry, this is going to be a long video. And then the final question is one that comes from Deb. I guess it's not really a question, but the final prompt, I don't know. And it is, what is the product you are most proud of panning? And I think I would definitely have to say, when did I finish it? I think it was 2020. So this is one of the first like big projects, big year-long projects that I did, was the 20 favorites in 2020 that was created by Denise, who she has, like, I do the 12 favorites and 12 oldies. She is the creator of those projects as well. And in that project, I completely, it already, I'm trying to remember if it had pan in it when I brought it into the project. But either way, that year, I finished up a Tarte blush in the shade Feisty. And I'm pretty, hold on, I'm going to check something out. Because I do have like a mini Tarte blush. So I'm pretty sure that the one I finished was a full size. So I finished a full size Tarte blush, and I am pretty darn proud of that fact. I also finished a blush last year. It wasn't quite as difficult as the Tarte one because it was older. It was very powdery. It didn't take me as long. I mean, I dropped the Tarte one too, but I also dropped this one. that's a secret tip or trick. Drop your makeup and you'll use it up faster. But I used it, like, I'm just really proud of, especially that Tarte one. I'm just really proud of finishing up blushes because, man, everybody knows blushes take forever. You ever seen the Sandlot? Forever. Forever. So, yeah. So that is the tag, I guess. I don't know if I should continue filming because I'm almost done with my eye look, or, I mean, you're going to see this eye look in my 7 favorites and 7 oldies and 7 favorites video because I'm going to film that right after this. But I don't really know if I have anything else to talk about right now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to finish my eyeshadow and then I'll just come back to say goodbye to you all and so you can see the finished look if you don't care about my 7 oldies and 7 favorites, in which case. So I will be back to end the video in a minute. Okay, so I finally finished my makeup and I had a lot of fun doing this tag. I can't wait to see how the other ladies answer these questions. If you end up doing this tag, please let us know so that we can watch your video. And I hope you enjoyed my very long-winded answers. It's kind of that lipstick. It might be kind of too late if you're already at the end of the video, but I promise I won't be offended if you decide to watch this at like double speed or something because it's a long one. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're staying safe and sane and healthy, having a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.